The story opens in a place designed to strip people of confidence. A half-abandoned military compound. Concrete walls cracked by age and neglect. Lights buzzing overhead like insects trapped in glass. The soldiers move with relaxed cruelty, boots scraping the floor as they slowly close in on her. To them, she's just another civilian alone, unarmed, and visibly exhausted. They joke, test her reactions, enjoy the certainty that she has nowhere left to go. She keeps her hands visible, shoulders slightly hunched, breathing shallow but controlled. To the soldiers, it looks like fear. What they fail to notice is how precise her stillness is. Her eyes track movement, not faces. She watches spacing, angles, weight shifts. She memorizes exits that don't exist anymore. Every sound, the click of a rifle sling, the scrape of a glove against concrete is quietly logged. The environment becomes part of the trap. Loose gravel on the floor. A flickering light that creates rhythm in the room. A pillar that blocks half the sightlines. The soldiers think the space belongs to them, but she is already mapping it into zones of danger and opportunity. They step closer, confident, careless. One reaches out to grab her arm, assuming compliance. Inside, something settles rather than rises. Fear drains away, replaced by focus. Her heart rate slows. Muscles relax, not to surrender, but to prepare. The trap was never the room. The trap was their assumption. And as the circle tightens, the story quietly signals the truth. They are not closing in on her. They are positioning themselves exactly where she wants them. The moment everything changes is small, almost invisible. A soldier grabs her wrist with lazy confidence, expecting resistance or panic. Instead, he feels nothing, no struggle, no fear, just a sudden absence of control. Her body moves before thought can catch up to it. The softness vanishes. Her posture snaps into alignment, weight shifting with purpose, eyes locking forward with lethal calm. The first movement is precise and efficient. She rotates her wrist just enough to break the grip, steps inside his balance, and drives an elbow into a nerve cluster that shuts his arm down instantly. He collapses without a shout. Before anyone can react, she strips the rifle from another soldier, not by strength, but by leverage and timing. The weapon never fires. It never needs to. Shock spreads through the room like a delayed explosion. The soldiers hesitate, caught between disbelief and instinct. That hesitation is fatal. She moves through them with controlled violence, knees, strikes, takedowns, each action ending a threat in seconds. There is no rage in her face, no triumph. Only focus. Every motion is deliberate, trained, and clean. This is not improvisation. This is muscle memory forged under pressure most people never survive. She uses bodies as shields, angles attacks so no one has a clear shot, and keeps the group fractured. Orders are shouted, but they come too late and contradict each other. The unit's confidence collapses as fast as their formation. What terrifies the remaining soldiers most is not how fast she moves, but how quiet she is. No wasted motion. No hesitation. The fear they expected from her has reversed direction. In less than a minute, the room is no longer theirs. It belongs to her. And the truth crashes down on them all at once. They didn't trigger panic. They triggered training that was never meant to be seen. As the chaos pauses, the surviving soldiers pull back, weapons raised but hands shaking. The room feels different now, heavier, quieter, charged with something they don't understand. They look at her the way people look at a storm that appeared without warning. This is the moment when fear turns into realization. Small details begin to surface. The way she checks her breathing without looking down. How she adjusts her stance instinctively to cover multiple angles. The coded phrases she mutters under her breath, not prayers, but reminders drilled into her long ago. One of the soldiers recognizes it too late. Those movements aren't taught in regular training. Not even special forces. They belong to a tier most people only hear about in rumors. Fragments of her past emerge, not through exposition, but through action and reaction. A flash of memory as she disables a radio night water insertions, black waves, silent signals. Another as she scans the ceiling, hostile compounds, stacked threats, missions where failure meant erasure. Her identity was stripped away years ago, deliberately. Names removed. Records sealed. Survival became her only constant. The soldiers realized why orders were vague, why intelligence was thin, why capture was emphasized over questions. She was never meant to be found alive. She was a loose end, an asset that outlived its usefulness. And now that asset is standing in front of them, calm, capable, and fully awake. This revelation breaks what's left of their confidence. They are no longer facing a lone woman. They are facing the consequence of a secret that should have stayed buried, and doesn't intend to be buried again. The balance of power flips completely. The soldiers try to regroup, spreading out, calling commands that echo too loudly in the empty corridors. Their movements are no longer coordinated, only reactive. She senses it instantly. Fear has entered their decisions, and fear makes people predictable. She doesn't rush. She disappears. Lights go out one by one. Footsteps echo where no one is standing. A shadow moves at the edge of vision, then vanishes. She uses the environment with ruthless intelligence, tight hallways that cancel their numbers, doorways that funnel them into single-file mistakes, high ground that lets her observe without being seen. Every sound she makes is intentional. Every silence is worse. Panic spreads through the unit. Radios crackle with half-finished reports before cutting off. Orders overlap, contradict, then stop entirely. Soldiers fire at movement that isn't there, wasting ammunition and confidence. She strikes only when success is guaranteed, neutralizing threats and withdrawing before they can respond. This is no longer escape. It is psychological domination. She is teaching them what it feels like to be hunted by something smarter, calmer, and faster. By the time they realize she controls the tempo, it is too late. The compound has become her terrain. And in this terrain, she is not prey. She's the lesson they will not survive long enough to fully understand. When the final echoes fade, the compound feels abandoned again, as if nothing violent ever happened there. The bodies, the broken weapons, the scorched lights all tell a different story, but silence dominates everything. She stands alone for a moment, not catching her breath, not celebrating, just listening. Listening is how she knows when it's truly over. She moves with the same precision she fought with, wiping away traces of her presence, disabling systems, erasing paths she used to move through the building. Reinforcements are already on the way. She knows the timelines, the response protocols, the inevitable cleanup crews. She has no intention of meeting them. Survival was never the goal. Control was. As she leaves, she allows one thing to remain behind: evidence. Not enough to expose her, but enough to unsettle command. A pattern of takedowns that tells a story to anyone trained well enough to read it. A message without words. You made a mistake. Outside, the night accepts her without question. She blends into it like she always has, another shadow, another civilian shape among countless others. The world will never know what happened inside that compound. Official reports will reduce it to equipment failure, internal conflict, or nothing at all. But somewhere, behind sealed doors and classified briefings, unease will grow. Files will be reopened. Names long buried will resurface, then be buried again. The truth they cannot escape is simple and terrifying. Some soldiers don't retire. Some weapons don't break. And some secrets, once awakened, refuse to stay silent.